Yes.
Thank you, Council. So done.
Mayor, thank you, and council members, thank you very much.
Thank you. Last thing on the agenda here, under mayor's issues, discussion of ordinance 1998-15. Got an update if we can, Tim and Brian.
I can begin just briefly. I think last month Chief Eaton was away. The ordinance we were talking about is the solicitation ordinance. Last month Chief Eaton was away. I think he's reviewed proposed ordinance this time. I think council talked at some point that it would be necessary to get your input on doing anything like this because of the enforcement aspect of the ordinance itself. No matter what we put in there, the biggest burden is going to be on the police department.
Correct. Tim and I have spoken a couple of times about this, and it's definitely staying on our radar in the, so to speak, off season of peddlers. So we still want to get this thing wrapped up here in the next couple of months. It's certainly important that we do put more teeth in what we currently have on the books, and in both Tim's research and some of the other cities that he's looked at their ordinance, and I've talked with several other police chiefs. I think we're on the same page as far as the direction that we need to go as far as enforcement and language. So hopefully within the next couple of meetings we'll be able to get this thing in writing and present it to you for consideration.
What's your language, Tim?
My language may not be what's ultimately approved by the council, but I think you're doing a couple things. I think what you're doing is we talked about this previously, is the city has a public safety issue. They want to make sure that anything you put out there, you're increasing or enhancing public safety, so we don't just have people going door to door that may be of questionable moral turpitude. But that being said, you also have to do something that's pro-business. It can't be anti-business. Let's put it that way. And I think that your Chamber of Commerce will be interested in anything that you put out there because you don't want it to be so stringent that you hurt these local businesses. I've given Chief Eaton a version of an ordinance that very similar to what was used in the town of Fishers. And it's one of the reasons why I use that ordinance, and we've changed it a little bit, but one of the reasons why I use that ordinance is because there was a U.S. Supreme Court case that came down in the last 5 or 6 years that sort of said what you can and what you can't do to regulate this stuff, because it is an infringement upon First Amendment speech. They've done this since that Supreme Court case came down. I've reviewed it. I think it's probably within the spirit of what the Supreme Court has said and feel fairly comfortable with it. That being said, it's also very much a policy-driven issue, and I don't know what council will ultimately say about it. So,
we can't ignore or prohibit the groups or people that are permitted by state or federal law from soliciting door to door. That's the first thing. The next thing is, I don't think we want to tie the hands of local business people. I've had one call from a business person here in town that said that he got his start by making door-to-door solicitation, financial advisor, investor, if you will. But I've had a few calls that want it stopped as much as possible. They don't want people coming in their house at random, knocking on their doors. I don't want that either, but yet I don't want to tie the hands of business people here in town, legitimate business people, from trying to do their jobs as well. Now, I don't know if they should have to make a telephone call or send a letter and set up an appointment, and they go to their house. We sure wouldn't want to restrict that in any way, shape, or form. But you not be able to control or police everything that happens. But at least we would have something on the books where somebody has to come to the police department to say, I need to be on the streets. We are legally bound. We can do this.
I think the bottom line with what you're going to receive is, one, they will come to the police department to get a permit to do the peddling. And anyone involved with that organization, not just one representative, but anyone that's going to be out there. Typically, there's a van full of people that's going to go around selling magazines, for example. So each of those persons would have to be identified. And then we will do a limited criminal background check, as limited as we can do by law, within a certain period of time. They'll pay the peddler's permit application fee, and then we'll go from there. That's kind of, I think, the bottom line of what we're going after.
And it's recently happened to Clerk Treasurer Ryle recently. When I left my house to come to a meeting, someone was knocking on the neighbor's front door with a stack of papers or something under their arm. So I called my wife back on my cell phone and said, ask that gentleman if he has a peddler's permit and you'd like to see it. And he knocks on your door. He didn't have one. This was right at dusk. We want the police department to be aware of who is out there. Even if they can actually, by law, go door to door and solicit, we still want them to come to the police department and put name badges on or whatever, that they are legitimate. So that everyone knows if somebody knocks on the door, that the police department has been notified and it's been approved, and approved people to the door.
Does Fisher spell it out pretty good,
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty, I'll obviously get you a copy here pretty soon. I don't want to get you anything that hasn't been vetted, and the police gives us the feedback that they want. But it's out there. This is there's two things that I think that make it really difficult. And that's why you're not seeing a lot of these communities do this. Is you have the balance between public safety and protecting businesses. And then the other side is the enforcement.
The enforcement.
Yeah.
How you're going to enforce it.
Yeah, so I don't think you want to make it so stringent upon the police department that it's too strong for them to properly enforce. But there's a medium somewhere. We should be able to come up with something. I'll be disappointed if we don't.
And basically, all I want to know is we've done everything we can. We can't police everything. We can't enforce everything. I just want my own mind be at ease that we did what we could. It was fair to everybody in implementing whatever is implemented.
It's probably worth noting that no matter what you put out there, the other thing, the public always has the ability to put the no solicitation signs out there.
People who don't want peddlers should put a big sticker on the window. No
And that
soliciting.
doesn't mean anything. They still come in.
That's right. Yeah. No, that's one of the reasons why people support the ordinances is because.
And don't stand in front of the door when I open it up. Okay. Thank you, Chief.
Thank you.
Does the council have any questions, concerns regarding the matters? Then I would open up discussion to the public. Oh, yes. Gary Murray. Please stand. Gary Murray is our new city engineer. For those of you who have not met him, Gary, tell us about yourself. Not everything, but...
I want to tell you about the mistake on the application. I'm a Noblesville resident. Been working in the civil engineering field about 22 years. Graduated from Purdue. Worked at several consulting firms in Indianapolis, and glad to be here.
And we are working on trying to get him to become a Greensburg resident. He is also married and has a wife named Nancy.
Yes. She's a middle school guidance counselor in Lebanon.